Please subscribe and like to our channel.
There was once upon a time a fisherman and his wife, Isabel, who lived together in a little hut near the sea. Every day he went down to fish, and sat with his rod for many an hour at a time, looking out upon the blank water. One day, the line went right down to the bottom, and when he drew it up a great flounder was on the hook. The flounder said, "Fisherman, let me go, for I am not a real fish. I am an enchanted fish. What good will it do if you pull me up? I shall not taste good. Throw me back. You will soon catch another fish." "Ah," said the fisherman, "don't worry, as you can speak, you are obviously no ordinary fish. I will set you free." So saying, he threw the fish back into the water. It swam away, leaving a streak of blood behind it. Then the fisherman got up, and went back to his wife to tell her the strange happening. No sooner did he get inside the hut than she said to him, "Have you caught nothing today, husband?" "Oh," said he, "I caught the most amazing fish. It could speak. It said that it was an enchanted fish, so I threw it back." "Did you do what you should have done, ask the fish for a wish first?" she asked. "No," said he. "Why do you say that, wife?" "Ah," said she, "that is very unlucky. Is one to remain in this hut forever? You might have asked for a better place in which we could live, at least. Go again, and call him, and say we need a better house. I'm sure out of gratitude he'll give it to you." "But how can that be managed?" he inquired. "Well, catch him again, and before you release him, ask him quickly." The man was not very pleased, but his wife insisted, so more to get away from her than to catch the fish he went back to the sea. It looked gray and green, cold and uninviting. He stood by it and said, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, hither quickly come to me. For my wife, dear Isabel, wishes what I dare not tell." No sooner had he said this, than the flounder came swimming up, and asked, "What do you want with me?" The man said, shamefacedly, "My wife said I was to catch you again, and when I turned you loose I was to ask you if we could have a nice house instead of the hut." "Go home," said the flounder. "You will be pleased." So the fisherman went home, and found instead of the hut, a clean cottage, with a white painted gate. His wife was standing in the doorway, and said to him, "Look, this is more like it. See the fine curtains, and the brass bed, the bright shiny copper pots. In the garden was a large apple tree, hens, chickens, plenty of flowers and vegetables. Are you content?" asked the fisherman when they went to bed at night. "I shall have to think about that," said the wife, sleepily. About 14 days passed, and the fisherman caught enough for them each day. But his wife began to complain about the cottage, saying, "Husband, the bed is too narrow, the parlor is too crowded, the kitchen much too small. The garden is draughty, the gate squeaks. Go then to the flounder, and ask him for a castle for us." "Wife," said he, exceedingly annoyed, "I cannot do that again. Surely, this cottage is good enough for us." "Good enough for you, but not for me, I can tell you," she replied angrily. "Have you no ambition? Do you want to be a poor benighted fisherman living in a cottage like this all your life? Go, tell him what I have said." "It isn't right," said the husband. "I don't suppose I will ever see the flounder again." But he went down to the sea and looked out. The sea was quite choppy, with great waves topped by white crests. It looked green and grey no longer, but dangerous. "The flounder may be quite angry," he thought, "but I'd better try, just to tell Isabel that I did so. Flounder, flounder in the sea, hither quickly come to me. For my wife, dear Isabel, wishes what I scarce can tell." "World tells Tilda, what do you want now?" asked the flounder, swimming up with some difficulty. "Oh," said the man, half frightened, "she wants to live in a great big castle." "Go home," said the fish, "she is it already." The fisherman went away, and could scarce believe his eyes. Where the cottage had been was a great stone castle, with turrets and battlements, slits for arrows and 50 stone steps. His wife called to him from the top of the stairs, and taking him by the hand, said, "Now, let us walk about in our new home." So they walked about, in the great paneled hall, with tapestries hanging everywhere, and huge paintings of ancestors. There were gigantic oak tables, and silver, glass, linen, candelabras of Venetian work, rooms of treasure, many servants scurrying hither and thither. There were crystal-looking glasses, priceless carpets from the East, valuable hounds sitting beside the log fire. Outside there were stables, cowsheds, dovecots of gigantic size, wagons, flowers and fruit trees. There were meadows full of deer, and oxen in the pasture, fat sheep in pens. "Is this not charming?" said the wife. "I hope you will be satisfied for life, with all this style," said the bewildered fisherman, looking everywhere for his rod. "We shall talk about that some other time," said his wife. All went well for about 2 or 3 weeks. Then the wife said to her husband, "Look from this window. Would it not be fine if you and I were king and queen of all the land?" "Woman, you must be mad," said he. "Have you not got enough?" "Go," she insisted, "tell the flounder we wish to be king and queen." "I do not want to be king," he shouted. "I am a fisherman." "Be what you like," she said. "Just go and tell the flounder that I want to be queen." "I must be queen." He turned away and went down to the sea. Stupefied, he looked out at the water. It was quite black, and when it splashed up it smelled most disagreeably. But he stood still and repeated as before, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, hither quickly come to me, for my wife, dear Isabel, wishes what I cannot tell." "What does she want now?" asked the flounder, swimming up with some difficulty. "Ah," said he, "she wants to be queen now." "Go home," said the flounder. "She is queen already." The man returned home, and when he came nearer to his castle he saw it had become much larger, and that it had flags flying from the turrets, and soldiers on horseback standing guard everywhere. Before the gate was a herald, with a blaring trumpet, and there were other soldiers with kettle drums and fiefs. When he went into the palace he saw there were items made of gold everywhere, plates and bowls set with precious gems. Magnificent curtains fringed with gold hung at all the windows. Tables were made of marble and gold. Serious-looking courtiers strolled through the halls, deep in conversation. He went into the great court apartments, and there sat his wife, with fountains playing jets of wine instead of water, upon a throne of gold and diamonds. She had a crown upon her head glittering with rubies and pearls, her hair in a net of gold. On her neck was a golden chain, in her hands a golden orb and scepter. At each side stood 6 young pages, each dressed more gorgeously than the last. The fisherman went up to his wife and said, "Ah, Isabel, I see you are the queen now." "Yes," she said, "I am queen." "Do you like being queen?" he asked. "Now there is nothing else you can be." "Oh yes there is," she snapped. "Go to the flounder right away and tell him that I must be, and shall be, Pope." "Oh wife, said he, "you cannot be Pope. The Pope is the head of Christendom, and there is only one Pope. The flounder cannot make you that." "I will be Pope," said she, and he went off to find the flounder. When he came to the shore the sea was running extremely high, and the sky was so black he was quite terrified. The fisherman could hardly make himself heard above the sound of the mountainous waves which were breaking upon the rocks. He cried, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, quickly, quickly come to me, my dear wife, Queen Isabel, wishes what I dare not tell." "What now?" asked the flounder. "She wants to be Pope," said the man. "Go home and find her so," was the reply. So he went back, and found a huge church, in which his wife was sitting upon a much higher throne than before, with 2 rows of candles on each side, and before her on footstools were kings, queens and princes kneeling. "Wife," said he, "be content. Since you're Pope, you cannot be anything higher." "I will consider that," she said haughtily, and turned her head away. She rose very early next day, and looked out of the window, watching the sun rising. "Why should I not make the sun rise and set?" she asked herself. So she roused her poor husband, and said to him, "I have thought of something. Go, tell the flounder that I want to make the sun rise and set. Go quickly, I must be the ruler of the universe." Stumbling and falling, the fisherman made his way to the sea. There a tremendous storm was raging. Ships and boats of all shapes and sizes were tossing about in all directions. Then he shouted out, though the wind whipped his words away and he could not hear the sound of his own voice, "Flounder, flounder, in the sea, quickly, quickly, come to me, for my wife, Pope Isabel, wishes what I dare not tell." "What would she have now?" asked the fish. "She wants to be ruler of the universe," shouted the fisherman. "Return, and find her back in her hovel of a hut," said the flounder, and disappeared. And in that hut the fisherman and his wife remained for the remainder of their lives.
Thanks for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.